that we are in the pre-production, the art of pre-production with Brent Lattin. And I was just going to try to hold, Kente, if you would, with us. Monday seemed the hardest day of the week to get going, so I'd like to hold for another 5 minutes. 6:15 on the nose we would start, if that sounds fair to everybody. Kente, will that work for you?
That sounds good to me.
Oh. Hey, Brent, did you say you'd prefer that to be for a child, or could it be a piano for any age?
Yes, it can be any age. I have students, I normally start around late fours, five-year-olds. But then as far as, I think my oldest student may be 70.
Okay, up to adult, okay. Four to adult, that's
yeah,
great.
so we can do.
And where will they come for the lessons? To your studio, to the YPE studio?
Yes, that's that address is 2735 Mackey Place. And that's here, Shreveport, and 71118 is that zip code.
So you're not downtown anymore?
No. We purchased a building right off 3132 next to South Park Mall for anybody that's been here for a while. So yeah, so we've been there since pretty much since COVID hit. We closed in that April on that location.
Okay. Maggie. Maggie Place, Maggie.
No, Mackey. I'm sorry,
Oh, Mackey. I'm sorry.
And
of course. Yeah, I know. And what's the number there at the studio?
318. And let me give you the number specifically. I forget this number for piano lessons. Let me find that number. I should know it, but I do not. It's a newer number. Let's see, where are we? There we go. Okay, that number is 318-2. Where is it? Okay, it should be. Okay, 232-0756.
Perfect. Oh, cool. Thank you. That's going to be a great prize. Thank you. I'll email this to you tomorrow, Brent, for your review. All right.
I'm going to be at home working, so if you have any problems, let me know.
But I am on Facebook Live right
You
now.
are, I've edited, it was originally a really bad photo of me going, because it took a screenshot when I went live.
Yeah.
That was the thumbnail, so I changed it to Brent and had Brent with GSU and rambling and it, go ahead, Bob. And so everything should be ready. Ron Smith is trying to get in.
Oh,
Well,
that's good. We only have 10 right now.
Yeah. Oh, I can't. I'll take it. How about that? Me and Leo will share.
1 minute, let me get this started. Thanks.
Anybody else?
One. You put that on Rachel's desk.
Rachel's gone, nobody's gone.
All right, 3 minutes and we're gonna start. Do you think Ron Smith is trying to get on?
Well, he said he was trying to get on and he didn't see anybody on there. I was like, I think you're on the wrong one, so that's when you may see me pop on.
I did.
I hopped on to see if the
Yeah.
link was working, and the link worked. And so we will just see.
Kente, did you have any problems at all getting on? We're wondering, a few people have said they want to be on and they're not on yet. Even if he's going into the chat. Okay. I can see your chat, yes. Yes, Kente, I finally have been able to get to your chat. Thank you. And you have to leave in 25 minutes. Oh my gosh. Well, shoot. Let's go ahead and get the program started then, right here. And play this.
You're still on mute. You're on mute.
All right, now, are we back or are we
Yeah.
still screen sharing? Are we screen sharing or
No, it's on you.
back to the three of us? All right. So Kente, I want you to meet Brent Lattin. If you don't know him already, he's the president and the CEO of Young Professionals Entertainment, which is a media, marketing, and entertainment company, formerly in downtown Shreveport. Now you got me a little worried that you moved out to Mackey Lane, but Brent has a professional recording studio for local and regional artists. And in addition, he is a musician himself. Glad to hear you work at Grambling. Thank you, Kente. Thank you. And Brent plays lots of musical instruments, and he teaches piano with his newest company that he formed a bit ago called the Listen and Play School of Music. And he teaches people of all ages, so you can learn how to play the piano by ear, and just shared that he's going to be having more and more instruments to learn from. Brent's company, Young Professionals Entertainment, has won every award there could be in small business in Northwest Louisiana. And he himself was awarded the prestigious 40 Under 40 award by the Chamber of Commerce and by 318 Forum magazine. I do want to just say that he's got a son and a daughter, and he boils it all down to loving traveling, fellowshipping, friends and family, participating in sports. Thank you for clapping, Kente. And his motto is loving God, loving yourself, and loving people creates the recipe to enjoy life. So Brent, without further ado, take it away and talk to us about the art of pre-production. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and I'm excited about this second master class that we are doing here today. So let me go ahead and share my screen and get to my PowerPoint here. All right, so we're going to talk about the art of pre-production. Last week we talked about just being able to visualize and bring in the vision of whatever project that you're working with, or if you're collaborating with someone, just how to create that vision and how to play off that vision and to make that vision come to life. So now we're going to talk about the art of pre-production, and there are so many different facets of pre-production, but so we're going to go through different ones. And if you have any questions or even any comments, please leave it in the chat, or I'm also looking on Facebook as well. I'll be looking there if you have any questions or any comments, and make sure to to share it. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, make sure to share the link or share it to your page, and we'll engage some more people. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I like to do just each class session, and hello, Rashonda, I see that you're there. So we're glad to have you there. But let's first, let's go. Let me pull up here, making sure that we're on the right thing. Okay, there we go. All right. So the art of pre-production, this is my family. I always just like to kind of introduce myself and tell everybody who I am. So that's my my wife and my 2 children. We spoke a little bit about the business and about myself. So that's just a little bit about me. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. I love our area, and I love the arts. Grew up in the arts and grew up even elementary school, South Highland. So we had the performing arts. So I just love artistic things. And we also spoke about YPE, the company that we represent. And these are just a few projects that that we've worked on through the years. And these actually range from television shows, documentaries, short film. So we've worked on a lot of different projects, but I think the one that probably befits what we're doing here with Homecoming with Grambling and Suzzla is the Eddie Robinson documentary that we did a few years ago through an educational group, and they even play that on Grambling's campus every year for the freshmen. So we're always excited about that project. So let's talk about the pre-production stage and the art of pre-production. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is forming the company. So what you want to make sure that you have, if you don't already have it, you want to make sure that you have a legitimate organization. And a lot of people, you know, when they get ready to start businesses or start different things, they just kind of just start it, and they don't do the actual registering the business with the Secretary of State. And there are so many benefits with doing that, and we'll talk about some of those things a little later. But you definitely want to form your company, form an LLC, or make sure that you're registered a corporation or some type of entity to where you have legal documentation that you actually exist. And this is also important, and we'll bring it up again in another point of talking about pre-production, but this is important for insurance. So a lot of times when you're doing different productions, you're going to need different type of insurance. And some locations, the only way that you can book them is if your company has insurance. You have to have all of those good things. So that's one of the technical parts about pre-production. If you haven't already done so, make sure to start a formal business and make sure that you have paperwork for that. But then you also want to do that to create an identity and a brand for what you're looking to do. So you want to have some company associated with it. We know that Oprah has OWN. Tyler Perry has Tyler Perry Studios, and their list goes on and on with different people that have different companies for their productions. Awesome. All right, so let's go next. After you form your company, and if you have any questions on that, please feel free to ask. And I see we have Fred Mouse on. We have Fred Mouse on here, so if you have any input, definitely let me know about that as well. Yeah, go ahead.
We're talking about the insurance, and tell me this, Brent. I know you have to have the insurance when you're getting different venues. So for a company, and I guess for companies that are just starting out, you know, I say those, you know, that don't have a lot of money and have a big budget, would it be suffice for them to go out and actually just get event insurance just for that particular event instead of covering a whole policy for the whole year that you might not use? Is that
definitely? Yeah, that's a very good input. They do have certain, like you say, event insurance, or just getting insurance for, you know, if you're looking to rent equipment or something like that, get insurance just for those 5 to 7 days you may be shooting. So that definitely is a great route to go if it's something that you don't see yourself using, you know, and investing in it for the long term. So yeah, that's awesome advice for anybody that's starting out. But still, in order to do that, there are some places that will allow you to get that insurance, and you do it personally for yourself, but you don't want to have your personal assets and stuff liable if something. Exactly. It's always good to formulate some type of structured LLC or corporation. But yeah, definitely a great additive for that. And then also with forming your company, let's just say you go down the road and you want to produce you want to produce a short film or a feature film, and you're like, or a documentary, and you're like, well, I don't have the money, I don't have any investors, but I have decent credit, I have good credit. I just need $5,000 or $10,000 to make this happen. So you definitely want to form a company for that, because then you can get that through your company, that financing or those loans or that credit that you may need to make your project work. So yeah, awesome stuff. Any other questions, anybody? I'm looking on Facebook as well if you have any questions. I'm also looking in the chat. Awesome. All right, so after you formulate the company, and we talked a little bit about this last week as well, you want to go ahead and get your preliminary budget. And I know a lot of these, what we're talking about the art of pre-production, but there's not too much artness in pre-production, if you want to say that. Now, we'll get to the creative part about it, but there's a lot of logistical and technical and fiscal matters that you have to be on top of before we even get to the actual creative part of shooting the movie. So even though it's called the art of pre-production, I kind of played on that part of art because a lot of this is going to be more logistical and more ABC 1, 2, 3 type of stuff. But again, you want to make sure that you have your preliminary budget, just like anything else. You definitely want to formulate your budget, and as we discussed last week, you will have to put in your budget, put in the talent that you're looking to hire if you're looking to do a short film or a feature film. Also look for your catering, look for your director of photography, look for if you're going to hire out a script writer, or if you are going to get somebody else to do the video production or the editing, the sound editing, the composing, the legal fees that you will need. Then you have props. If you're looking to do a film, you're going to have different props, and then you'll also have makeup. And then you will, you will have costuming as well. So depending on what type of production you're looking to do, you want to align your budget with that. And you want to know that up front. You want to have that budget up front, and you want to understand what type of expenses you're looking to incur, so that when it comes time to produce the film, you're not backing out on your budget because you went over. So that's very important. And then we have one comment from Jocelyn, but this is still helpful for other businesses. Good, definitely. Yeah, this is helpful for other businesses too. So if you're creative, that's great. Or even if you're more on the technical side or the logistical side of creative projects, this will help you as well to really formulate and understand what entails a project. And I know we're speaking specifically towards film, but this also reaches out to theater, or even if you just do music, or if you do art, you want to kind of have some of these pre-production tools with you for whatever you're looking to produce. So preliminary budget. All right, so now after you get your budget together and you understand the costs and the fees that are going to be associated, now it's time to create your team. And we discussed this a little bit as well last week in creating the team. And depending on if you're just starting out or if you're working on a larger project, that's going to kind of help with your team and what you can afford. But if you're just starting out, if you're a creative person, or you just started your production company, or you're just kind of getting your feet in the water, you may want to just start out with a film to where either you are a lot of the team, or where you bring on volunteers, maybe other people that are passionate about the project, and form your team that way. But we're just going to go through some of the positions that you may need to look for when you're looking to create that team. And the pre-production stage is the perfect time to go ahead and align those team members and those people. So first of all, you want to see who the director will be. Are you going to be the director, or are you going to get someone else on the team to, if you're doing a short film or a feature film, will they kind of navigate and work with the different actors and actresses and the different talent to say, hey, do this, do that? Or are you looking to fill in that role? Or even for a documentary, kind of when you're doing the interviews, the director would say, well, look, let's ask this question, or hey, let's rephrase that and say it this way. So the director is, what's being said, they're directing the course of your project. So you definitely want to look at the director. You want to also look at the videography. You want to look at your director of photography. As we stated last week, that's your DP. That's the person that comes up with the different angles and comes up with the different looks that you want for your film or for your documentary. And then you also want to look at, Is that person going to also do the editing, or are you going to get somebody else to do the editing? The same with sound. Sound is very important in working productions, and most people will tell you, you would rather have great sound and okay video than great video and horrible sound. Somehow, how our mind works, when we hear something, it makes whatever we're looking at look better. I guess it's kind of almost like a relationship. If you're connected and you're listening to each other, you just look better to each other. But sometimes, or most of the times, and I've seen it in different productions, somebody will have an awesome camera, the video footage looks awesome, but the audio is not on the same level, and it really degrades what's going on. So you also want to look at that as well. As well, to make sure that you have the sound engineers that you have, all right? And seeing if you want to do that internally, or if you want to get somebody else or hire someone else to be on the team for that. And then we get down to, so we're talking about the video editing, we've talked about the DP, the director. So we also have the script writer. So, you know, for the most part, you know, you may be able to write a script, but there are other people that can fine tune that script to really make it palatable and make it, more aligned with what your overall vision may be. So you have to look and see, okay, do I want to also write the script, or do I want to get somebody else to do that? Oh, and Kente, I see your replies. Yes, okay, Kente said, true, that would be him, script writer, good. So because you want to make sure that in your script that, you know, there aren't any punctuation errors or any typos, and then you want to make sure that it's also formatted correctly so that when you get your talent in there, they're able to easily navigate and understand the different type of emotions they need to put out and different things. So you definitely want to look for a script writer on your team. All right, so then we get down to after the script writer, and we've talked about those other things. We talked about audio, video, we've talked about directing. Then we also have the makeup artist. So depending on what type of project you're looking to do, will tell you what type of makeup artist that you need. We've worked on so many projects throughout the years. Some had the budget to where we could hire makeup artists, some didn't have the budget for that. But some of the films that we've done, we did, and I spoke about it last week, we've done a film called Foot Switch that was actually set in the early 1900s. So there was also some shooting in that movie and some other things. So we had to hire a makeup artist that not only knew how to do makeup and to make people not shining and all that good stuff, but she had to do the special effects as well. So she had to put, you know, bullet wounds on their bodies, and had to put, there was a fight scene as well. So she also had to add different things for the fight scene. So you have to see what type of makeup artist you need. So of course, for some things and some projects, if you're just starting out, you may not need, you know, a full out makeup artist. It's always good to have, but you may not need it. But if you're looking to do something like that, you definitely have to invest in somebody that knows what they're doing. So we have the makeup artist. Something else that is also important that you may put on the team as a person, just as a focus for that specific position, is someone who is over costumes. Somebody that's over making sure that everybody looks like the period of the film that you're looking to do. So that's also very important. And then we get to other, and I'll just kind of spit those out there, other positions that you may be looking to fill. You may need some PAs, some production assistants, production assistants. Those people may not have the most technical knowledge, but they're hands on deck. They're able to help you if you need to move something, they can move it. You know, they're able to, you know, run small errands. So you'll need some production assistance as well. Something else that I didn't say, lighting is very important as well. So depending on what type of project you're looking to do, you may have somebody that's just on lighting. And then when you have larger budgets, there are so many other positions that you may be looking to fill, or you may have somebody just focus on this one thing. So there are so many things that you would want to look at for, yeah, definitely. Yeah, for and you got your grips. I mean, you have so many different positions, even on the larger scale for these productions that you want to fill in. And definitely, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll even guide you on that. But that's all in the budget. It's all in the budget. You also have props. You have food on set. You have location fees, permits, licensing fees. Just so many different things in the budget that you may want to even assign to a certain team member. So after you build your team, after you get your team created, go ahead and share this again. Help keep me on path. So we have the team created. So now here comes the part that's fun for us creatives, is the creative planning. this is always the fun part, because this is why you're doing this project, because you love the creative side of it. You love the fun side to say, hey, look, I want to create this look. I want to create this vibe. I want to create this story. I want to create this conversation through this short film or feature film or documentary or television show. So this is the time where you sit down and you plan it out. You get your team together, you get your producer, you get your director, you get your script writer, you get the different people on your team, you come together, you say, okay, well, look, the script writer has been working on the script. You're looking at the script, and now you're fine tuning everything in there. You're saying, okay, well, look, this is what we're going to do here. This is how we're going to shoot this. I want to do a tight shot here, but then I want an aerial shot showing this. And that's always the fun part. One of the just joys of pre-production is the stage where you sit down and you meet with, and we've worked on some projects to where there was a producer, there was a director, there was the writer of the screenplay. Then we had a script writer, and then we had an assistant director, assistant producer. So it was a larger team, and we all sitting down formulating the ideals and the creative juices that how we want to make this production happen. So that's the joy of the, or that's more of the artistic part of the pre-production, to where, hey, look, we're not worried about it. At this point. We have our budget, we have our team, we have those logistical things that matter. Now it's time to just create. It's time to just go off and create. So that's always the joyful part in any production. And as we're working on the production for Homecoming, that has just been a joy to just work on the creative process. Okay, how are we going to put this thing together? How are we going to line the music? Who's going to perform this? How are we going to put them in there? And I mean, you can just kind of tell my excitement. And I like being on the, and most of the projects that we've done, I've been on more of the production and the logistical side. But every once in a while, I'll be able to sneak and be a part of the creative side and really just enjoy just creating. And as one of my good pastor friends and fraternity brother, sorry about that, Fred, Pastor Theron Jackson said one time, he said, creating is the closest thing to God. So that's why there's just so much joy in creating. And of course, you know that because you're on this Zoom and you're on Facebook or YouTube watching this, and you understand the creative process. All right. So let's get back to some of the technical stuff. I kind of got lost in the fascination of creating. All right. So after you get through that wonderful creation process, you sit down for hours with your team. You've thought about, okay, well, this is who I want here. This is what we need to do here. This is who we want to add here. Now it's time to identify, who do you want to be in this project? Who are the actors or the actresses, or who are the interviewees who are the people that you want to interview? Who do you want to capture? So this is always a very important part, because of course you got like we said last week, you visualize what you wanted to do. You've written down the vision. We've already done some work in pre-production and getting everything aligned, but now it's time to tackle who is going to convey this story. So you have this great vision, but you decide to get a subpar interviewee or subpar talent. They can pretty much negate everything that you did before. Everything. So this is a very important part in making sure that you identify who you want to have for your talent and for your interviews. And there have been just so many great projects that we've worked on. And this is always the fun, but this is another part that I really enjoy personally, because you're able to strategically think about who is going to push this project to where it needs to be. Who's going to fill in those? Who's going to fill in those gaps? Who's going to bring out the performances? And it's just such a great thing. And then on the documentary end, which I love documentaries, because every time we work on a documentary, I end up learning more than, or sometimes I enjoy learning more than even, I would say, working on the project. And I definitely enjoy working on the project. But you learn so much with documentaries. But one of the things that we always do when we consult with our different clients and with different people that we work with, who is going to help bring out the storyline for this interview? And then what type of questions do we need to tell them to really bring out this interview? So having the specific talent and the specific people is extremely important for pushing your project to the next level. All right, so And this is more directed more toward short film, feature film, or television shows or scripted type of productions. You also want to hold auditions. So kind of what we were talking about before in identifying your talent and interviewees, you want to identify what type of talent that you want. But a lot of times for these productions, you also want to hold auditions. You want to see, maybe you thought about so-and-so, but you didn't know about so-and-so. You didn't know about the other person. So holding auditions will open up the plate of people that can really bring out your vision. And sometimes we've done some projects to where we had, 3 or 4 people in mind that we wanted to do for a certain spot, but then we held auditions and we found out, well, they were actually better suited for another character or another role. And then somebody else would fit better in maybe that role. So that's why auditions, even if you already have who you want to use, still hold auditions. And then something else that does that also brings some momentum to your project. That brings some momentum because now you're involving other people even outside of your circle. You're holding auditions. Even if they don't get the part, they still are a part of that momentum because, hey, they know a project is going on. So that all of that energy just really contributes to the entire projects. So when you hold auditions, you want to make sure that you have certain criteria for each character or each role that you're looking to fill. You want to make sure that you know inside your head and that your team knows, because when you hold auditions, you want to have your team there to also evaluate those different people that you're looking to use. But you want to have a clear vision of each role and each character. You want to have a clear vision with that. And you want to make sure that through these auditions, you're able to find who you need to find. All right. So now, once you get your talent, and let's kind of just go back through real quick. From the top of the art of pre-production. So at first we talked about forming your company, forming a structure so that you can do some things that we're going to talk about here in a second. And then after you form your structure, form your company, form your production company, you want to go ahead and get your preliminary budget in order. You want to go ahead and know how many coins you have to put out for this project and how many you will have to put out. You want to understand how much each person is going to cost. You want to understand if you have a budget to where you're going to be paying the talent, or if the talent's going to be working free. If you're going to have a team if you're going to have a team of volunteers, or if you're going to have paid people in every position, you want to get your budget set. All right, and then next you want to create the team. After you get your budget, you'll know who you can or can't afford, or if you need to ask for volunteers, or even for some projects, I didn't speak about this before, but even for some projects, you may give one of the team members, if they're working for free, you may give them a piece of your royalties, a piece of the cut once the project makes it. So that's very important. Then after creating your team, the creative planning, that's when you sit down and you really outline everything about the project that you're looking to work on. You outline who's going to be doing what, but then you, even more specifically, you outline what you expect from each character, how you want them to be presented, how you want to roll them out as well. And then after the creative planning, then we get to identifying who we want to be our talent, who we want to be our interviewees, who do we want to carry this project. All right, and then we hold auditions. If we're looking to do a short film or looking to do a feature film, we want to make sure that we tap the complete talent pool of our area. We don't want to just restrict to just our circle. We want to see if there's some talent out there lying that we didn't even know about. And I love our area because we have so many talented people here in Shreveport, Bossier, Northwest Louisiana, even in our region. So there are so many great artists, but even more specifically, there's so many great on-camera talent here in our area. And it's just been a joy for the last 7 years to work with so many different people in our community, in our region, in our state, in our neighboring state of Texas, on so many different projects. All right, so then again, we're talking about what we need to secure. So now we're on security. And again, if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat, or if you're on social media, please leave them in the comment section if you have any questions or comments, because I do not know it all. I know a lot, but I do not know it all. And I'm always open to hear from other people and hear their input as well. But we're getting down to securing different things. And this is why it was very important to have an actual business entity, because you're going to have to secure your rentals, property locations, and permits. And I'll go through each one of them real quick. So as far as rentals, one thing that we've had to do for a lot of projects is we've had to rent equipment. And that's actually common for a majority of your productions. If it's small or even if it's on a large scale, a lot of times production companies will rent equipment. Of course, it's a lot cheaper to rent equipment because instead of having to purchase a $15,000, $20,000 camera, you can rent it for 5 days for $500. So that's just a lot easier for production companies, or even on a larger scale with Hollywood film. It's a lot easier instead of purchasing a $100,000, $150,000 camera or setup to rent it for, a month or two for, $10,000 or however much it may be to rent it. So you definitely want to have your rentals. But the other thing that we were mentioning before, one of the first things you want to do is to begin your company, start your company, your LLC, your corporation, is because a lot of times these rental companies, you have to have insurance and you have to be insured through an entity. So it's very important to have that in place because you don't want personal liability on a $10,000 camera. You want to have it to where you have your structure and where you have insurance and proper things to be able to rent that type of equipment. And you may want to rent cameras. You may want to rent audio equipment, lighting, gimbals, dollies, drones. I mean, there's so many different things that you may want to rent. So you want to go ahead and secure those rentals for your production. And then you also have props. So depending on what type of project you're looking to do, you may have to purchase and secure props. Like I stated before, on the project that we worked that had a 1919 or early 1900 setting, we had to rent a lot of props that looked and aligned with the early 1900s. So you want to make sure that you secure those items because you want to bring out the realistic parts of the story, and props always make that happen. And then locations. You want to make sure that you secure your locations. In your creative planning, you would already discuss how many locations you need, where you need to do it. So in this point in the pre-production process, you want to secure those locations. You want to see if you have to pay a fee or if you need insurance for those locations. You want to make sure you don't have to have any special permits or special things for those specific locations. So this is the perfect time to secure those different spots. So after securing your locations and making sure that you have all the great settings for your project, then it's time for permits. So depending on where you're looking to shoot, if you're looking to shoot in certain areas, you have to have certain permits to do that. And a lot of times these permits, you aren't able to get them quickly. You have to prepare ahead of time to get these permits. And I know some permits can take 30 days or 60 days. So this is a part of the process that you definitely don't want to skip and that you definitely want to have on point, because this can really determine where you're going to shoot certain things. If you don't have that certain permit, then you may not be able to shoot at that location, or you won't be able to shoot at that location. So you want to make sure to secure all of those different things. And again, too, it's not well, you can kind of put that with permits, but you also want to secure any licensing that you may need to secure as far as video and music as well. A lot of times when you're doing documentaries and images as well, photography, video, and music, you want to make sure that you secure the correct licenses. Or you want to make sure that you have, royalty free, or if you get somebody to create it, you want to have those different agreements in place. And something that I didn't mention earlier, you definitely want to have everything in writing. I didn't mention that earlier. So you definitely want to have different things in writing. And I'm getting a text. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. So we have about 5 minutes to the break. So are there any other questions? Any questions or comments? Fred, you got anything?
When you get to talking about licensing and stuff like that, and for music and video and pictures and stuff, they actually, especially during this COVID, they have, I guess the prices have gone down on some of these sites where you can get the licenses and music licenses and all that kind of stuff. So I've been using Envato, and they're quite interesting.
Yeah.
They let you know, hey, you can just use the licensing or unlicensed, and some of the things that they require you to do, Like I just pull like several soundtracks from them to use for a project.
Right.
And it's like, okay, each time you use that project, you just want to make sure that let them know that you're using it.
Exactly.
But some of the cost for these things, like it was $33 a month, or you can do 175 or 85 for the year.
Right. Right.
I think it's worth it, because when you're working at night, like we all do, and you get caught up on something, you say, well, I need this picture. Well, you don't want to go through Google and try to find those pictures. You
Right.
need something that's royalty free,
Right.
video that's royalty free. So I think those little sites, and there's several other sites out there, but this one I've been messing around with for about 3 months now, and it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, that's a good site. I know we use and they changed the names. They changed it to storyblocks.com. So I've used storyblocks.com.
Storyblocks, yes, I've used them too also.
Yeah, and they have awesome royalty-free music, video, graphics, images, vector files, all of that. So that's very important to use those different resources, because like you say, you can't just be Googling pictures and using them without the correct authorization. So all of that is an important part of that process. And Pam, I'm guessing we're ready to go to break for a few minutes.
I think we can go for a few minutes. Yes, that'd be great, Brent. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Well,
all right. While Brent is taking the break, let me take a moment to do some advertising for this homecoming celebration of the Grambling State University and Southern University Shreveport alumni artist. If you're out there and we don't know you yet, claim your fame. We want to celebrate you in an exhibition, if you're a visual artist, in a performance that Brent is producing, a virtual performance that will be live streamed, that Brent is producing and that Roshonda Spears is directing, and we want to make sure you're a part of it. And if you're just not willing to come out and perform or exhibit yet, we're still producing an incredible catalog to share with all of Louisiana, the phenomenal talent that has come from these two really strong HBCUs in Northwest Louisiana. Now, are you confused about what's an HBCU? Then on Thursday, October the 8th, this week, you will not want to miss the presentation that we have on Zoom and on Facebook Live by Dr. Sharon Heron Williams, as she explains what is an HBCU, historically Black college and university, and why these universities have had such an impact across the nation on the arts. So you won't want to miss that on Thursday. If you yourself are interested as a visual artist, every Tuesday and Thursday, Eric Francis provides a workshop from 6 to 7:30 p.m. If you're interested in learning more about the performing arts, every Tuesday and Thursday, you get to Zoom in or do Facebook Live with Roshonda D. Spears. Monday nights, Brent brings it all together, explaining the production of the performing arts. And Wednesday nights are not to be missed with Brenda Wimberly showing us the great African-American divas of music, spanning a wide variety of musical genres. So tune in to her. All of our sessions start at 6 o'clock and they're over with at 7:30, and we'd love to have you participate. Don't miss homecoming weekend, October the 23rd. That's Friday night, when we open the visual art exhibition curated by Eric Francis at 5:30 p.m. at Art Space. And then on Saturday, the live stream virtual performance of the alumni performers from Grambling and Southern University. You won't want to miss that. And Saturday, if you are an alumni or faculty or a trustee or anyone out there who just wants to be with the alumni, on Saturday we're having a homecoming day celebration, Saturday, October 24th, from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. And we'll then go over and get a sneak peek at that virtual performance that Brent is producing with Roshonda D. Spears directing. And those of you who are out there seeing that wonderful smiling face of Fred Moss, he is part of the management team documenting this entire experience so that it lives on for a lifetime and becomes just as much a part of the legend as those legendary alumni that we're saluting. And we're so thrilled to have you here tonight, Fred. Also doing the documentary with Fred is Alan Blakeney from Grambling State University, and together their work will debut as a film in very early December, and you won't want to miss what their take on this incredible 8-week session is all about. So I think I might have talked through your entire 5 minutes, Brent. I hope not, but someone can tell me when you want to go forward.
Oh, that's perfect. We definitely want to advertise this awesome project, and I'm just so excited. And Pam, thank you just so much for everything with this project. It has been a joy working so far. So with everybody, with Fred and Alan, just everybody, it's just been so much fun. So I'm excited about where we're going with this project and the momentum that this is going to create, even during this crazy COVID season. So so we are totally excited, and I see we have a few other people on. Everybody that's joining us, please type in who you are, where you're from. I always like to know who I'm talking with, just in case they know a little bit more than I know. So that's always good to know.
Remember, if you're
Man, I got some art.